Hey everyone, what's going on? So, a little over a week ago, we got a story in the mainstream media about how an eagle named Clark got lost at the Cotton Bowl and he ended up landing on some Notre Dame fans. And if you're new here, what I talk about is how these things that go on in the mainstream media and our sports leagues and our told history, these things are symbolic. And if you pay enough attention and you understand what is called gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, you will get a better understanding of what they are trying to do. There is some type of narrative with this story, with an eagle landing on the Notre Dame fans. And if you recall, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, we got a story of the Seattle Mariners baseball player named James Paxton who had the bald eagle land on him, and it was all synced up to the moon stuff, right? The eagle's name was Challenger and a bunch of other things, but James Paxton, when this eagle landed on him, it was in the game against the Minnesota Twins, and that's where the Super Bowl was just won by the Philadelphia Eagles. And it just so happened to be 150 days after his birthday, and in what is called gematria, if you write out Philadelphia Eagles just so happen to equal 150. And there's a lot more to it. I'll leave a link to the video in the description of that James Paxton video. But just note that it was connected to the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl. And I started thinking about this because this Cotton Bowl was a playoff game to go to the football championship that's going to be held on 1-7 this year. And if you've been following what I have been saying, I've been talking about how it's significant that this championship is falling on this day because a big deal with all of the kneeling during the national anthem, it all syncs up to San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick and whatnot. And San Francisco plays in Levi's Stadium, right? Levi's Stadium, and that's where this college championship is going to be played on 1-7. And in the Bible, Moses is in the tribe of Levi, and Moses parts the Red Sea and much, much more. But Moses is in the tribe of Levi. This game is on 1-7 or 7-1. The word Moses, the small way equals 17 and the big way equals 71. And since 2015, I've been talking about how it's connected to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they won their first championship in the year 71. Nebraska equals 71. But in 1971, they won that at the Orange Bowl. And then 17 days later, on January 17th, was Super Bowl V, where the Colts and the Cowboys played. And if you followed what I've talked about recently, too, I've talked about how there's some negative energy that I've been feeling that is connected to what was going on with in 2016. And in that year, I was talking about the Colts and the Cowboys possibly being in the Super Bowl, the Colts versus the Cowboys. And, you know, after this happens, we have the Colts and the Cowboys both win their first playoff game. But anyway, I'll leave some more links in the description. I just want to make a short video explaining something very simple with this narrative here. So, all of the stuff I've been talking about, it made me think about the 49ers again, and then this championship coming up on 1-7, and I was like, what does the Eagles name Clark have to do with the 49ers? And then I remembered that last year on June 4th, the same day that the Eagles said they weren't going to go to the White House, right? Donald Trump canceled the Eagles' White House visit. That same day, we got the death of the ex-49er Dwight Clark, right? And he's famous for the catch that was the San Francisco 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys, right? He's famous for this. His name equals 64. He died on 6-4. 49ers equals 64. You know, he wore number 87, right? Number 87. And Cowboys equal 87. And he was the tight end. And tight end equals 87. That's how it's always scripted. But this guy dies, and Joe Montana's even from New Eagle, Montana, and Dwight Clark died in Montana, the state, all synced up, right? And anyway, just think about this here. So Dwight Clark dies, and then the same day the Eagles aren't going to the White House, and then we get the story at the Cotton Bowl that's played where the Dallas Cowboys play at AT&T Stadium, right? And Dwight Clark went to Clemson in college, and Joe Montana went to Notre Dame in college. And this Cotton Bowl just so happened to be Clemson versus Notre Dame. So what are the odds of this? And then the Eagles' name is Clark. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. And then the Eagles even won today in a strange game. It sure seemed that the Bears were going to win with 18 points. I don't know what they did here, but the Eagles' final score started when there was 101 on the clock, and Philadelphia equals 101. So I knew they were going to score. I really thought the Bears might come back and win with 18 points, and then the Bears didn't win. So pretty interesting. They let the Eagles win today. In regards to all that, the Eagles scored 16 points on the date of 1-6, and Eagles also equal 113 in that kicker. It was 1 month and 13 days before his birthday. But moving back to this story, so a gematria, Cotton Bowl equals 50, and Bald Eagle equals 50 in reverse. Bald Eagle equals 49 the frontwards way, and Notre Dame equals 49. And this eagle landed on Notre Dame fans at the Cotton Bowl. So see how Bald Eagle syncs up with Notre Dame and it syncs up with Cotton Bowl. If you go from this Dwight Clark story, or from his death to the day this Cotton Bowl happened, it was 208 days, which is interesting because if you write out Notre Dame fan that the Eagles landed on, it was 208. And if you write out Fighting Irish, it equals 208. And yesterday we had a whole bunch of stories with the number 208 in it. The bowling one, Southern California equals 208, Knicks versus Wizards. I don't know, just there was some bunch of 208 that I kept seeing, so I printed out New Orleans Saints equal 208. And there's a big narrative with the War of 1812 and how it syncs up to the 49er stuff and Colin Kaepernick kneeling and whatnot. The word kneel equals 88, Colin Kaepernick equals 88, the Star Spangled Banner equals 88. That's why last year the Super Bowl was played in U.S. Bank Stadium. U.S. Bank Stadium equals 88. And think about it, it was in the 88th anniversary of the stock market crash. Donald Trump, Herbert Hoover was the president during the stock market crash. His initials are HH. H is the 8th letter, 88. So, I'm not sure of the complete narrative. I just wanted to make a quick video while I'm on a roll tonight making videos, so wanted to make a short one just to prove the point. The Eagles' name's Clark. It's absolutely synced up to Joe Montana and the death of Dwight Clark and, the catch that was against the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Cowboys won, the Colts won. The Cowboys, what's his name? The Cowboy player? Alan Hearns, right? The guy who broke his ankle. He did it 1 month and 24 days after his birthday, and his name equals 124. His name also equals 43, just like ankle, just like Dallas Cowboys, just like Seattle Seahawks, just like football. It's also interesting that he was tackled by number 30, and the Cowboys were leading 3-0, and Cowboys equal 30, and it was 30 days before the Super Bowl this year. And I know there's something synced up with it. This guy right up here that walks back to him, his name's Clark. And then you got Stephen and King, right? Think about Stephen King and the movie It, the clown. And then you had Ty Hilton, who wore the clown outfit for the Indianapolis Colts. And think about the famous Colts player named Dallas Clark. What are the odds of that, right? Dallas Clark. Talking about how there's something connected to Clark. I don't even know how to explain it. Stephen King. Ty Hilton wears the clown outfit. The other guy, Clark. Dallas Clark. There's a bunch of Kings stories in the media yesterday, too. The Warriors and Kings combined for the record for three-pointers. And then USC blocks Kingsbury from NFL talks. So, definitely some narrative I need to think a little bit more on, but I'm really not for sure. I still think there's something really related to the Chiefs. The Chiefs or the Rams, because all of that, we'll see what happens in the game tomorrow, the Alabama-Clemson one that's in Levi's Stadium, because Moses brought in the age of Aries, and Aries is the ram, so, and then, the Chiefs play in the Sea of Red, and Moses part of the Red Sea. And think about Moses, the original guy who freed the slaves, right, and Abraham Lincoln, which is why the Nebraska Cornhuskers were so important to that. And what I was talking about, too, with the Nebraska Cornhuskers back then was we had the death of Lawrence Phillips, who played for the Rams, and we also had the death of their punter, what was his name? Can't think of the kid's name right now. The Nebraska Cornhuskers punter died in a car wreck with the Michigan State player Mike Sadler, and his name was Sam Foltz. Sam Foltz and Mike Sadler died, and the player that was with him that lived was Kobe Delahousse, sorry, who played for UCL or LSU. And when Nebraska won their first championship in the year 71, they beat LSU. But LSU just so happened to play the bowl game against Scott Frost's old team, right? They beat Scott Frost's old team in the bowl game, and then now Scott Frost coaches the Cornhuskers. It is a huge web and a big narrative that's going on, and I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. So I'm going to leave the video at that. Just wanted to make a quick video talking about that eagle named Clark and how it's synced up to this narrative that I have been following. So have a good one. Peace.